Hello student, in this video I am going to discuss about the topic. Here it is mentioned as software analysis and design tools. You can think it as also any system. It might be any system, any information system. That is why it can be also said as software. So in software analysis and design, uh, or you can say system analysis and design includes all activities which helps transformation of which help the transformation of requirement specification into implementation. But uh, software analysis and design is the intermediate step. Intermediate step means before going to develop the real system, or after the initiation of the developing the system. This is like analysis and design is the intermediate stage. Through this stage, actually, it helps the human or any user through readable requirements, which is going to be transformed into actual code. And there are various techniques that we can use to analyze the system and the way we can design the system so that it can be converted to the actual code. Now first you can see here, first name itself starts with data flow diagram, or in short you can say as DFD. And data flow diagram is basically graphical representation of flow of the data in an information system. So to describe how the information is flowing in the information system, or how it is going to be flown in the information system, to depict that, to show that, we need to draw a data flow diagram. It is capable of depicting incoming data flow, outgoing data flow, and stored data. So whole diagram will only focus on data, how data is moving across the system. And DFD does not mention anything about how data flow through the system. Are you getting the point? It will not talk anything about how the data will flow through the system, but it will say how or from where the data is coming and where the data is going and how the data is stored or where the data is stored. So there are different type of the DFD techniques. Here you can see uh, types of DFD. One can be logical, one can be physical. Logical means if the type of DFD concentrates on the system process and the flow data in the system. For example, if you want to build the banking or software system, then how the data is moved between different entities, you can show it using logical DFD. And what is physical DFD? Physical DFD is the type of DFD shows how the data flow is actually implemented in the system. Means this is the real depiction of the real system. It is more specific and close to the implementation, very close to the implementation. But this one you can change it according to the need of the system and according to the need of the time. It means at some point of time it might change, but this is there is very less chance to change the physical DFD. Here you can see there are few basic components to draw a DFD. Here you can see rectangular box is entity, circle box is process, but in some other cases you might find different notations also. Like to demonstrate the entity, here you can see we can use this rectangular box. To demonstrate the flow of the data, we can use the arrow. To demonstrate the process, we can use this type of process, or this is cut out the corners of the squares will become a process symbol. But also you can say what DFD symbols are used in the book. Okay, so in this book you can see they're also mentioning this type of symbols. Okay, you can see the symbols here to draw the data flow diagram. Symbols, this is entity like the student, data flow, process, and how we can store the data. So actually, as per literature it might change, but you can follow the book. Okay, this book is this one you can find it in the Google Classroom. Okay, so again we go back to the original position. So just don't confuse about the symbols whatever you found here in this diagram, but basically there will be a process, there will be entity and data store and data flow. So that process is not matching with the book one, but try to follow the book one. So these are the things. So entities are source and destination of information data. Means those are the source and destination of data. Entities are represented by a rectangle with the respective names. Okay, so entity will be named with the respective name of that entity, like student, teacher, or account, or like that. Process is like activities and action taken on the data are represented by circle or round edge rectangles. There is data storage. There are two variants of data storage. It can either be represented as a rectangle with the absence of both smaller sides, or as an open sided rectangle with only one side missing. So here you can see the text here. For process, we can use circle or we can use round edge rectangle. So that way you can see that they are also mentioning about the book example. And there is data flow. Movement of data is shown by pointed arrows. Data movement is shown from the base of arrow as its source and towards the head of the arrow as destination. So try to remember this. And to depict the DFD, there will be various levels. Okay, first level is that level 0. So in level 0, highest abstraction level DFD is known. So highest abstraction is shown. Suppose here you can see this is suppose a system online, or you can say information system, where online shopping system is associated with customers, where customer will order and system will deliver. So this is level 0. This is highly abstract. If we deconstruct this one to further, then it will become a level 1. In level 1 it becomes like the level 0 DFD is broken down into more specific, okay, more specific level 1 DFD. Level 1 DFD depicts basic modules in the system and flow of data among various modules. So this is about the level 1, where we can deconstruct the level 0. Okay, here you can see that this part, or yes, this part is deconstructed in this way. So for every customer there will be some accounts, okay, and Customer will order the sales part and it will get the delivery, but that order will process in this function. So this is the process entity. Okay, and in that process in this entity, this process circle will use the data of the customer and will use this entity stores. Okay, and it will use the entity accounts and it will use the entity sales, and all in all direction it will communicate, or data will flow in both directions, and in that way this system can be seen as level 1, or we are broken down the level 0 to level 1 to get the more knowledge about the system, or to get more specific about the system. And again, this level 1 can be further, can be broken in more detailed manner to become more specific. Okay, so at this level, the DFD shows how data flow inside the modules mentioned in level 1. Higher level DFD can be transformed into more specific lower level DFD with deeper level of understanding unless the desired level of specification is achieved. Point is that if this level 1 is not sufficient to analyze the whole system, then we can go further, more breaking down the this process, like this whole DFD we can break down further more DFDs or further more levels to understand it. If that specification level is not achieved, or understanding level is not achieved, or desired level is not achieved. Okay, so in that way we'll go, suppose level 1, then level 2, then level 3, then level 4. In that way we'll go on until unless we get the understanding of the system, unless the desired level of specification is achieved. So this is the way we can describe a or design a system, information system. Not only information system, also we can show this type of depiction in different type of field also, but in general or in as usual in information system we use these DFD diagrams to show how the data is flowing. There are other type of techniques that are available, like to design or to see or to know or to analyze the system, like there is structured search. Structured search derived from data flow diagram. Okay, it represents the system in more detail than DFD. It breaks down the entire system in lowest functional modules. So structured search actually deconstruct or break down the whole DFD into more levels using various notations. Here there are different type of symbols are used, like module. Okay, it represents process or subroutine task. A control module branches to more than one submodule. Library modules are reusable and invocable from any module. Here you can see, suppose this is control module and these are submodules and this is library modules. So here it said that library modules are reusable and invocable from any module. So this module can be accessed from any other module also, but there is only one control module there is, and this control module can be subdivided in sub modules. And there is another notation, that is condition. Condition is noted by this diamond symbol. If from this module satisfying one condition, it might go to this way, it might go to this way, and in that way you can represent the condition. It is represented by small diamond at the base of the module. It depicts that control module can select any of subroutine based on some condition. Okay, and again there are jump symbol. Jump symbol is showing like this way. The arrow is pointing inside the module to depict that the control will jump in the middle of the submodule, means there will be some jump code from this module to inside of this module, not from the starting of this module. But here you can see in the previous cases it is starting from the initial position of the module, but here it is showing that we can see that module can jump at any position of this module or middle of the sub module. And to show the loop, it uses this band curve. Okay, a curved arrow is represents loop in the module. All submodules covered by the loop repeat execution of the module. Means this all modules, these two modules will repeat the execution according to the loop conditions, but this module will not, because this has not included in the curve area. And there is next data flow. A directed arrow with empty circle at end represent data flow. Here you can see this is the levels. Okay, and there is difference between control flow and data flow. This is data flow, this is control flow. Means module is controlling this module, or this module is controlling this module, and the flow will come in either direction. And if the data is flowing, then you can show it using these symbols. And there is another one, that is hippo diagram. So we have seen DFD, then structured search, then is hippo diagram. Hippo diagram, the full form is hierarchical input process output. So please go through this. Okay, there is another one, structured English, or we can say there are like other techniques like pseudocode, or other techniques like decision tables. Okay, and there is another technique, that is entity relationship model. Here in entity relationship model is a type database model. Actually this type of model is used to show the databases of a system. Okay, so this is important. I have discussed DFD in this video and a few things about structured search, but please go through these also. What is hippo model, or what is hippo diagram, and what is structured English, and what is pseudocode. But I am going to discuss this part because this is very important in case of database system. Okay, ER model is best used for the conceptual design of databases. ER model can be represented as like this. So here there are different types of symbols can be used. Like here, entity. This is the entity, same like data flow diagram. And there will be attribute. For every entity there will be attribute. Suppose you want to build a table in database. You need to create some attribute of the table. So that attribute might be like, suppose you want to create a table for of your branch, then number of students, or the ID of the students, and the weight of the students. Suppose those will be attribute of this entity, like BCA 5 entity. Then the attribute of this entity will be different variable of your class, and that entity might be related with another entity with some relationship. Suppose BCA5 associated with computer application, because the relationship is like this is the department of entity, the student entity of BCA5. Okay, and the department will also hold some attributes. Okay, the relationship, the logical association among entities is called relationship. So this is logical association among entities, and it is mapped with entities in various ways. So map can be like one to one, or one to many, or many to one, or many to many. It like, suppose one student is mapped with lots of other different departments, that will be one to many. Or suppose lots of other students, suppose n numbers of students is associated with n number of departments, that will be many to many. Or there can be like n number of students can be associated with one department, that will be many to one. So in that way we can see the relationship among the entity. So that is why this is entity relationship. And why this is used in database? Because for every tables we need to create relationships, and through that relationships we can hold the database. Okay, and we'll try to go further more deep if you have any doubt and if you have any question. And there is another part and another technique, that is data dictionary. Okay, please go through this also at your free time. Okay, if you have any doubt regarding this, regarding these ideas, please let me know, and we'll also try to go further more if required at later time. Okay, this is all about in this video. Okay, we have tried to discuss few notations and what types of techniques, how we can analyze or design the systems through data flow diagram, through entity relationships. There might be structured charts also, there might be hippo diagram, there might be structured English, or there might be pseudo code, or there might be entity ER diagram or entity relationship diagram, or there might be data dictionary. So these are different type of techniques, and also there might exist various different type of techniques also in literature. You can find it, and please try to follow the book also. Please try to follow the book also. You can find in this book I have shown you, uh, this one. You can find in other books also, but I showing this diagram here, this diagram, so you can find the description of data flow diagram. You can find the description of other diagrams also. But and to understand how these things works in detailed manner, please go through this. Okay, it is very important. As you are a computer application student, please go through these things. It will help you a lot to design any system in future. Okay, so there are lots of descriptions you will find in this type of design. Okay, so if you have any doubt or any question, we'll try to resolve it in class over Google Meet or in next video. Please ask me. Okay, thank you.